Hello, it's Sherry Carroll here with a card idea for the Simon Says Stamps January 2013. Can you believe it? Card kit. So here's one of the cards that I've made. I've created a black label and stamped a really great message on it to look like a chalkboard. I've also used some circle punches to cut out some circles from the really fantastic papers that are in the kit. Here is the stamp set that comes in the kit, and it's got great messages and also borders and some really fun circle buttons and such. I've already cut my label out, and this is from the Hero Arts Classic Frame Cut. And I've also created a top folding card using this great wood grain paper. I'll be starting with my label first, and this black paper does come in the kit, and there's this really great message, and it's kind of large. And it is "You're very special," and I'll just go ahead and place that on my block, and I'm using Memories Unicorn pigment ink, and I absolutely love this ink because it's really opaque. So I'll go over my stamp a couple times and tap that ink on. I always recap it because accidents happen. And so now I'm just going to get my big head in the camera and go ahead and stamp that onto that label. You could also stamp first and then cut the label out, whichever you prefer, but I just did it this way. And here's how this looks up close. To help this dry really quick, I'm just going to shoot it with my heat gun here real quick, but you could also let this air dry. There are a lot of great papers in this kit, and so I've used several sizes of my punches, and I believe I have a 1/2 inch, 7/8, and 1 inch. And so I've just kind of cut some of the papers that I really like the most and the color selection that I like. And here I'm just using a tape runner, and I'll just go ahead and start putting my circles down. I've kind of laid them out first so I know where I want to put them. And this is a repositionable tape runner that I'm using right now, and I can go back later and use a more permanent one just in case I happen to want to shift things around. So right now I'm just adding a little bit of adhesive and tucking these in and overlapping, and if you notice, I'm kind of having everything go in different directions. I want to try to keep a fun little pattern going on. I don't want everything to sit perfectly horizontal or vertical. So here's how this is starting to look, and now I'll go ahead and trim off the excess with my scissors. By using the circle punches, this card comes together really quickly. And so then I'll put my tag on top. I've also added a little foam square on the back of my little tiny ones, and I do want a couple of these circles to lift up a little bit. And so I'll just go ahead and stick those down in place. I have another one here, and I'll just put this up here. I want to add a couple stamped buttons, and here I have the brand new Hero Arts charcoal ink, and it stamps out really dark, but it does lighten up quite a bit. And so I'm just going to repeat stamping this button. I may not use all three, but I do like to just go ahead and stamp some extras while I've got everything out. So I will just go ahead and start cutting this out with my scissors. And I like to cut a small piece first, and then I can go around and cut the buttons out. One of my theories is to use small scissors when you have a small job and big scissors for a big job. Okay, now I have my buttons cut out, and I'm adding a little foam square, and I'm going to go ahead and put this on top of the label and lift it up for a little added dimension. There's this great little banner greeting in here, and it says "To Me," and I'd like to add a little bit more color to this card. So here I have the brand new Pale Tomato ink from Hero Arts, and I'll go ahead and stamp this onto some scrap paper. And again, I like to stamp a couple and make sure I get the best image possible. I'll go ahead and cap off that ink and give you a quick peek. It's really cute. So now I can just cut this out with my scissors. I've put a little adhesive on the back of my little message, and I'll just go ahead and press that onto the card. And here's how this is starting to look up close. But it still needs a little something something, so I'm going to use my Signo pen, and this is the regular white pen, and I always kind of mark it off onto scrap paper first. And now I'm just going to use little dots, and I'll just go ahead and frame out this die cut frame. Next, I'm using my Faber-Castell small fine detail black pen, and I'm just going to do some really simple lines around these circles just to make them pop off a bit, and I'm going to do double lines, and I really want them imperfect. So I'm just kind of really randomly drawing on these, and it looks almost childlike, but it looks really fun, almost as though they've been stitched on, and it really pops those up and gives them a little bit more dimension. Here is another look back at the finished card. I've also used my corner round punch to round off just the edges on the right side. And here's another look up close, and you can see really in this picture how much the buttons have really faded out, so that charcoal really gets much lighter. This is another card that I made from the same kit, and I've featured this on my blog as well. And here's another card that was also on my blog that features the tickets from the same Simon Says Stamp January 2013 kit. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and I look forward to seeing you each and every month with more ideas for the Simon Says Stamps card kits. Thanks for watching.